Kathy Jackson here from Easy PC Tuition. Just wanted to do a little spiel about why we would actually want to use social media in the first place. Everyone talks about social media these days, everyone's on it. If you're not on it, you're in the minority. But what's so good about it? Even stuff that you see on the national news these days, some of that actually started on social media. So even they have picked up on the fact that it's big and it's where everything tends to happen. So the first reason that people might use social media is, of course, to stay connected with other people. Certainly for me, when I joined Facebook, it was because I was pregnant with our second, and my mum and dad were missing out on a lot of stuff because they live far away. There were people that maybe I didn't speak to anymore because I'd moved away from home and things. So I thought, right, I think I will get myself on Facebook and then I can share photos of baby photos and stuff. So it keeps you connected, even across the miles. And that is a pretty amazing thing these days, with all this digital gadgetry. You can send a message to someone or you can put a post out there, and within seconds, people from all over the world potentially could see that and see what you're up to and keep in touch with you and see what you're doing. So that's pretty amazing, really, when you think about it. So there's connection. There's also the aspects of community engagement as well. So it's not just keeping in touch with people that you already know or that you live far away from. It's about keeping in touch with what's going on in your local community as well. There's a big drive recently about digital inclusion and community engagement around that as well. And I think that's a really positive thing, because it does allow maybe people who are housebound or people with neurodiversities who don't particularly like communicating face to face or find it quite difficult to communicate face to face, who maybe don't particularly get out to actually interact with people. They can be included in their local community via social media or via an online forum that's set up for the purpose. So that can be a really positive thing. You can get feedback on something that you're doing in the community. Governments run different groups and things like that so that people can give feedback and so that they can gauge what sort of reactions they're getting from things that the government departments are running. So that's a really useful way to do things. There's also a lot of stuff you can discover online as well. Discovery is a big thing. Depending on the platform you're using, you can pick and choose what sorts of things you follow. And by following, I mean what sorts of things actually appear on your social media. The whole idea behind social media was originally to tell people what you're doing right now, to keep everybody up to date with what is going on in the world instantly. So you can actually have a little look around it as though you're searching an entire library or an encyclopedia of information, things that are going on, events. So there's a lot of things out there. If you look for, say, the town you live in, if you do a little search for the town you live in, so much stuff will come up from it, from historical things to things that are coming up in the future, to things that are happening right now, or discussions that are taking place in your local area and things like that, from who's doing the planting in the public planters this year to which summer fete is going to be really big next season and things like that. It's a whole plethora of stuff that's out there. And with the right sort of search, if you type the right sort of thing in, you can narrow it down to stuff that you really like. For example, stuff that you've been doing for ages, gardening or embroidery or something, you might find people who know different things to you, and you can share tips and ideas and learn a lot from it as well. So that's another really positive way to use social media. And you don't always do it on purpose. Sometimes you find stuff out by accident because you stumbled across it. And there's also an element of business use as well. A lot of small businesses and big businesses use social media to promote things like their products or their services or their events because it's free. And it's easiest to use, and it gets in front of a lot of people really, really quickly. That kind of ties in with the discovery thing. One day you might be looking for a gift for somebody, and you might find a company that you didn't know existed because they do a gift type product that you were thinking of buying. You might find a gift that you never knew existed, or that gives you inspiration for something that maybe you wouldn't normally have thought of. Okay, so we know that social media keeps you connected both to the people that you know and potentially to the people that you don't know that live in your area or have something to do with the stuff that you're interested in. You can use it for things like community engagement, giving feedback on services and things like that, getting information about new services perhaps as well. And you can use it to discover things as well, things about your hobbies and interests that maybe you didn't know before, but also businesses as well, products, services, events, that kind of thing. So the only bit really that I haven't mentioned is the negative side of social media. The flip side of why would we use it is, of course, the reasons not to use it. Obviously, there's a lot of bad press about social media. It gets a lot of flack. But it has to be said that it's not really the platform's fault. A lot of it is down to who's using it. And it might be, I mean, when I first went on Facebook, I only wanted to be connected to the people that I already know. It might be that if you're thinking of going on social media, you only really want to keep it to the people that you already know, your family and friends. Maybe they live in another country, for example, but you don't particularly want to get involved in anything besides that, and that's absolutely fine. Especially with Facebook, you can lock things down quite nicely. There's lots of security settings that allow you to only see the stuff that you're interested in. You will get adverts popping up now and again, but they're usually based on the sort of stuff that you interact with anyway. So again, even those are going to be reasonably relevant. In other videos, I do cover how all that stuff works in small bites, not in any detail, just so that you have an awareness of how it all works and what to avoid or what to make sure that you have done. So stay tuned, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.